Hey guys, it's Mandals here to ask if I had a Pokemon right here, right now, could it help me take over the world? That's right, the topic for this video is going to be most useful Pokemon to have in real life. And as you can imagine, with over 800 Pokemon, it'd be pretty daunting to figure out which Pokemon would be the most useful on my own. So to help me tackle this, I brought along some rando I found on YouTube. But the rando couldn't make it, so I've got the ALAKAZAM instead.
The most useful Pokemon, you say? Well, obviously that'd be Lucario. He can tell how you're feeling, where you are. He's basically like a parent. On second thoughts, that actually doesn't sound that great. Anyway, before we start the list, let's make some things clear about how we're ordering these Pokemon. We are looking at how useful these Pokemon would be in the real world, if we were given one right now. For example, you won't be seeing any Mega Evolutions on the list, because even if you had a Pokemon that could Mega Evolve in real life, you wouldn't have access to the Mega Stones since they don't exist in the real world, unless that Pokemon is Rayquaza. But Rayquaza requires a move that can only be taught by a move tutor, and last time I checked, move tutors also don't exist in the real world. So if that's all clear, let's finally start this list. Number 10, Rotom. Let's start with a pretty obvious pick, the glitchy electric ghost that takes over appliances. While the idea of a ghost possessing things sounds like the stuff of nightmares, this also has many practical applications. You know that pesky lawn that your mum keeps telling you to cut? Well, you're in luck, because Rotom is here to save the day. Can't be bothered to wash that mountain of dirty clothes? Rotom's got your back. Does Gordon Ramsay keep insulting your cooking on Twitter? Now after Rotom perfectly cooks your food by taking over your oven, he won't. Are you really unpopular? Well, now you'll always have a fan. Any appliance you need handling, Rotom's got your back. Over 5 uses for the price of 1.
Number 9, Klefki. Have you ever wondered what was inside the Pentagon? Well, with a key that can open anything, you can find out. And in case you were wondering, Klefki would be said key. Klefki is basically Pokemon's answer to a skeleton key, meaning it can open any door. This would probably be Mario Party Luigi's favorite Pokemon. Have it unlock the house for you while you bring in groceries, have it open the car you locked yourself out of, plan a devious escape from prison. Hey, we don't judge. Regardless of how cheeky or malicious your intentions behind using Klefki were, you cannot deny that the Pokemon would make for some extremely convenient utility. And yes, the Pokemon can of course also function as the key to your heart. I don't know how else to express Klefki's usefulness without rambling because it's so simple. The Pokemon opens doors. That's it. It's rad. Moving on.
Number 8, Meowth. My mother always preached to me about how money doesn't grow on trees, but one thing she neglected to realise is that money does in fact grow on a Meowth. We're here to tell you that actual work is for suckers, and if Meowths were real, you should definitely keep one for an endless fortune. In the Pokemon universe, Meowth's move Payday has the Pokemon tossing a bunch of cash amongst the battlefield that the trainer picks up once the fight is over. So in the real world, you could technically spam this move endlessly, so much to the point where you could even put Bill Gates himself to shame. It doesn't take a genius to figure out why this is so beneficial. With endless money comes almost endless possibilities. All you need first is a cat with a gold bar glued to its face.
Number 7, ALAKAZAM. ALAKAZAM's got something that is simply unmatched. It's intellect. Now, you've probably heard it a good few times on the internet by now, but just in case you haven't, I'm here to fill you in and tell you that ALAKAZAM's IQ weighs in at a whopping 5,000, successfully making Albert Einstein look like a clump of moss in comparison. And I know we're also mere peasants compared to the almighty ALAKAZAM, but even us dumb humans can comprehend why having a genius with you at all times would be beneficial. You could use the Pokemon as a glorified encyclopedia, receive the best financial advice you've ever heard, and even unlock some of life's greatest mysteries. Who knows what kind of mind-blowing stuff an ALAKAZAM is capable of telling you. Lastly, let me shed a little more light because we haven't even got to the best part of owning an ALAKAZAM. Buckle in because this one's a doozy. Free spoons. And not just one, but 2. That's some utility that you just can't turn down.
Number 6, Celebi. This small green forest pixie might not look like much, but Celebi actually holds the power to do things that would borderline make you a superhero. I'm of course referring to time travel, which has all sorts of wonderful uses. This ranges from things such as saving yourself from the embarrassment of ripping a huge waft in front of a girl you liked, to saving the world from Hitler's tyranny. This intense ability could be used for pretty much anything, good or evil, but at the end of the day, time travel is an incredible use. Now of course some of you might be saying that Dialga also controls time. However, unlike Celebi, it mainly only warps time, and even though it can time travel itself, it doesn't state anything about being able to take others along for the ride. Celebi, however, goes full on Doc Brown, zipping through time and taking you to any point in history or the future that you wish.
Number 5. Hoopa Unbound. People are always gushing over the portal gun and how cool it would be to own one, but you know what's even better? A Pokemon that comes equipped with a built-in portal gun. Hoopa has the ability to create portals using its glorious hoop earrings. Does your fancy portal gun sport fabulous jewelry? Didn't think so. And obviously the ability to be anywhere in the world, or other worlds for that matter, at any given time would be incredibly useful. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to use Hoopa's standard form without access to a prison bottle, but Hoopa Unbound does everything Hoopa can do and more. For example, this towering beast can bend other dimensions at will. It's unclear whether or not the Pokemon can travel to these dimensions, but still, you'd be pretty well respected by the scientific community if you brought this to their attention. Heck, you'd probably even pick up a Nobel Prize if you did. Ultimately though, Hoopa's best asset is its portal making ability. This would even allow you to grab anything you want, even if it's millions of miles away. Observe!
Definitely wouldn't want to get your hand.
Oh. Obviously, you'd want to grab something that didn't kill you.
Number 4. Ditto. Okay, so before you call this one a cop-out, understand that Ditto isn't a perfect version of whatever Pokemon it transforms into. For example, according to Bulbapedia, Ditto cannot mimic the strength of other Pokemon. That means, sure, you could turn it to Celebi, but the time-traveling aspect will be lost. And before you ask why Mew isn't also on the spot, you should know that Ditto has something that a Mew with Transform doesn't. This lovable pink blob can transform into objects. As demonstrated in the Pokemon anime, this instantly makes Ditto the most effective Swiss Army knife you could ever lay hands on. I mean, he can turn into literally anything. If Ditto can recall something by memory, it's basically as good as yours. A sweet new sports car, a bazooka, it's all up for grabs and the sky's the limit.
Number 3. Chansey. We all know how complicated and frustrating healthcare can be to get your hands on depending on where you live, but this next Pokemon mitigates all of these quarrels. Your fancy 10-year medical degree isn't worth a lot in the eyes of a Chansey, and that's because this Pokemon is a medical miracle. Chansey's move Soft Boiled can be used on others and heals the target a considerable amount. So basically all you have to do is keep a Chansey around and you'll have free and easy healthcare at your disposal. And the best part is, it's quick and painless. You get to live without the gruesome details of brain surgery or a quadruple bypass. Just spam Soft Boiled and you'll be good as new. And sure, I suppose you could make the argument that other Pokemon can use healing moves, but take a look at the anime. Chansey is a trained professional, she knows what she's doing. Sure, Slowpoke can use Heal Pulse, but let's get real, you're not gonna trust one of these things with your life. However, there is one medical practice that even Chansey cannot perform, which is why the next spot goes to...
Number 2. Haunter. That's right, Chansey might be able to heal you on the spot, but you know what it can't do? Bring you back from the dead. As we know, Soft Boil cannot be used on a fainted Pokemon. Our answer to death? The ghostly Pokemon right here. I'm probably gonna get weird looks for saying this right now, but let me explain. If you recall the Pokemon anime episode, The Tower of Terror, you'll remember that Ash ends up dying, which is obvious given his ghostly appearance. Haunter, however, is here to save the day, as it puts Ash's ghost back into its body. From this, we can establish that Haunter has the power of life. Now I know what you're thinking. Shouldn't Xerneas be in this spot instead, since it's the life Pokemon? First, answer me this. As well as bringing you back to life, can Xerneas turn you into a ghost? No, it can't. So that automatically makes Haunter better. You can live forever, plus awesome ghost powers.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Miltank. It'd give you an unlimited supply of free milk. Quite handy unless you're lactose intolerant. Tropius. More free food. This bad boy grows bananas. Volcanion. It disperses heat and water. This Pokemon could effectively cut your utility bill in half. Porygon. This Pokemon can go into your computer Digimon style. I'm sure some folks would find this useful. Arceus. Outside of being a god, we're not really sure what this mon had to offer, but come on, it is a god. Darumaka. It's got poop that keeps you warm. Yeah, I know it's gross, but desperate times cause for desperate measures. Number 1. Jirachi. We've been over Pokemon that grant infinite riches, bring back the dead, and warp time and space. What could possibly top all of that? How about all of the above? When it comes to the maximum amount of use that you can get out of a Pokemon, our number 1 entry was a big no-brainer because Jirachi can make anything happen. And I do mean literally anything. This Pokemon grants wishes, and as far as we're aware, there's no Fairly Odd Parents rulebook that governs over what you can and can't wish for. Go nuts! There might be a little bit of controversy over the previous entries, but don't try to argue with wish logic. Jirachi is the wish Pokemon. You can ask it for anything. It's a closed case, and the fact of the matter is that this cute little marshmallow is the most useful thing you could pull from the Pokemon universe. This is irrefutably the best number 1 spot. Actually, now that I think about it, you would be able to wish for a better number 1 spot. Whoa. That's some heavy stuff. I think think I need to lie down for a little bit. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to go over to AuraGuardian's channel now, where we go over the opposite topic this time, most useless Pokemon to have. And hey, be sure to sub to him while you're there. Good stuff. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Peace.